Happy 9/11. Boy, that sounds morbid, doesn't it? To say it like that. Um, but you should celebrate 9/11. Not in a festive, happy way, but, I mean, you celebrate Veterans Day by fucking having barbecue cookouts instead of. Wait, not. Veterans Day is fine to have cookouts for. Memorial Day, however. Did you ever stop thinking about that? Because that one is about soldiers who have died, and you're celebrating it with a barbecue. So I say it's perfectly a-okay to barbecue on 9/11. 9/11's not even a federal holiday, which seems kind of weird to me. But then again, Pearl Harbor Day isn't a federal holiday either. Um, just start adding more federal holidays. I I would like, half the year to just be federal holidays. That would be awesome. Work on it, government. But 9/11. You surely remember 9/11, don't you? If you were like old enough. I mean, obviously if you were born after 9/11, then you're not going to remember it. But I feel bad for anyone who has the birthday September 11th, 2001. I mean, anyone in general who has the birthday September 11th, but those that were specifically born on 2001, it's like, hey, here's an annual reminder of you were born on one of the worst days in U.S. history. Just how can you celebrate your birthday? How can you just be just chock full and happy and no? But one of the things I remember from that time period is I was working for Generation Magazine, the student run magazine for UB. And luckily, we made a decision into we were having an issue set to come out on September 11th. And originally we had planned on doing this little thing about like plane crashes, kind of making fun of it. So, yeah, good thing we had decided beforehand, like, let's not do this. And because I could just imagine the shitstorm we would have gotten. But in the following issue, I had a story that I had already written and it was already set to go. And I hadn't thought about it because to me, none of it connotated to 9/11. But people were hypersensitive. And there was two things in particular. One thing, there was a scene that took place in the Thunderdome. Fuck yeah. Because I just had wanted to I've always wanted to write a scene in the Thunderdome. And someone throws a brick at a janitor. And people are like, oh, how could you do that after, the people in the World Trade Center died from the building crashing on top of them? It's like, the building didn't crash on top of them. This was just an act of violence. Are we just supposed to not have any violence whatsoever? Ever again? Like, fuck that. But the one that really confused me was in the storyline, there's a pair of characters that pretend to be Jehovah's Witnesses in order to get into someone's house. And I got all these like letters like, oh, you can't do that. Like, it's too soon to do anything like religious. Like, well, they weren't really Jehovah's Witnesses. This was just all a plot. And it made it clear that they were pretending to be Jehovah's Witnesses. And on top of that, Jehovah's Witnesses is not a real fucking religion. It's a cult. And I say this as someone who, as a kid, was forced into studying with Jehovah's Witnesses. Because for reasons I will never understand, my mom wanted me to become a Jehovah's Witness. She's not a Jehovah's Witness. So she's Catholic. And barely that. Like, she's one of those like, well, you need to have some religion. You have to identify some sort of religion. I don't really follow it, but Catholic, whatever. My family has been Catholic. But you're going to be a Jehovah's Witness. I don't know why. But it was pretty clear early on that I was not cut out for it. Because I was doing these studies, and the guy I was studying with, he's going on about, eternal paradise and eternal life in heaven and all that. And he said to me like, wouldn't you love to live forever? And my answer, without even thinking about it, was no. I Not to be morbid, no, not to be Mormon either, but not to be morbid, I think everything should end at some point. Like, it seems like the natural way of things. Like, something shouldn't live forever. Everything should cease to exist at some point. That's my opinion. But, so yeah. You may have noticed it's been a while since an episode of Velvet Al watches movies, so you don't have to. I am Velvet Al, and I am once again going to watch a movie, so you don't have to. The rumors of these movies having driven me crazy, which no one's making those rumors, but go on with it. Run that I completely lost my mind, and that's why I stopped doing this. Just a lot of things have kind of gotten in my way, so I can't guarantee that I'm going to go back on doing this on a regular basis. But this one I had to do because it's 9/11 themed. And I just thought, so maybe I'll just stick to doing themes like on major holidays and stuff, which 9/11 isn't a holiday, as I've already covered. But this movie's called Tiger Cruise, and it stars Bill Pullman, not Bill Paxton. Although maybe I'll randomly refer to him as Bill Paxton during this, just because I think it'd be funny. And the cheerleader from Heroes, which was a great fucking show for season 1. And admittedly, I never watched any of the other seasons, but everyone said they're horrible, so I've just never been, like, motivated to watch any of the other seasons. I will keep it my memory of the one season and done. So what am I don't know. It's a Disney Channel movie about 9/11. About a tiger cruise. The ship's got tigers or something. Whatever. All I know is it's a Disney movie about 9/11. So that alone means I have to watch it. Because you should not have to watch it. Whatever. I might lose my mind. I'm already losing my mind. So, yeah. Let me just press play. We start off with shots of a naval base, and honestly, I don't think I really knew what a naval base looked like before. I mean, I'm sure I've had to have seen them in movies somewhere, at some point, but I just always assumed they were, like, by the water, like, right by the water where all the ships are. But apparently no, and they have a lot of planes, which is one of those things, like... excuse me for a second. I'm not used to doing these long rants anymore, so I just gotta take a sip of water that I'm not gonna edit out, because longtime fans will know I'm too lazy to edit shit. But, yeah, I know, like, jets and planes and stuff, logically, it should be there, because they gotta fly to the aircraft carrier. It's right there in the name, aircraft carrier. So yeah, the Navy has aircraft. But it just seems kind of weird to me that the aircraft on the base... I don't know. Again, I know nothing about any sort of military thing other than what I see in the movies, and apparently even that I'm not fully aware of. So, after we got the establishing shots that, there's a naval base, we cut to a house that at first I thought was on the naval base, but it's not. But it's the cheerleader from Heroes' house. I'm just going to shorten her name down to Cheerleader. You know who I think even if you just say cheerleader, most people assume that, oh yeah, you mean the cheerleader from Heroes. Because that's pretty much all she was known for. Did she ever have a name in that show? You know what? No. I'm sure she had a name, but everyone just refers to her as the cheerleader. So, this movie was made before she made Heroes. Like, this was like a couple of years beforehand. So, she wasn't quite famous for being the cheerleader yet. But anyway, she's getting packed up because she's going to go on this tiger cruise where they're going to transport tigers. Although I looked up online in Wikipedia, and I don't think Tiger Cruise actually normally carries tigers. But, you know, it's got tigers in the name, so Disney Channel has to add tigers. But, so she's getting ready. Her little sister's upset because she wants to go on the Tiger Cruise too. But, you know, she gets to go every year. And this time the cheerleader, she wants to go to reconnect with dad or something for some reason. Mom doesn't quite understand it. So I guess mom and dad are split up. But the little sister tells her, like, wait till you see the ice cream machine. They got a fucking bomb-ass ice cream machine. Which, now I want to go on a Tiger Cruise just to check out this ice cream machine. And I'm lactose intolerant, so I probably can't really even eat the ice cream. But little sister has sold me on this. I want to eat the ice cream on the Tiger Cruise. But then we get to see some other of the kids who are gonna go on this Tiger Cruise from all over the country. I forget. I didn't catch where the black kid's from. Because I got too focused on the fact that his father is Chi McBride. Chi McBride from Boston Public. And other stuff. But mostly Boston Public is what I love him for. He was the principal. And he was fucking badass. Even though he's just playing a principal. He doesn't do anything particularly badass. But Chi McBride is awesome. Because he never really does anything particularly badass. But you look at him and you're like, this guy is fucking badass. I love him. He was not in the credits, so I'm assuming this is like a quick cameo that, you know, he just happened to be driving by that day and they're like, hey, Chi! Or is it pronounced Chai? They're like, hey, Chi! We're making a movie. Can we borrow you for a second? And, because even though he's badass, he's got a big heart, he's like, yeah, sure, whatever. And so I'm assuming that this will probably be the last we see of him. Which fucking movie got me all excited by showing me Chi McBride, and I'm like, all right, this movie's gonna be awesome. Oh no, he's just gonna drop his kid off to go to the Tiger Cruise. And then we go over to Seattle, and I was thinking like we were gonna get like some kind of like grungy chick, just rocker chick. But no, she just seems like super hardcore military, and she's got like the outfit, and she's doing like the hand waves and all the hand gestures. Excuse me while I take some more water. Wow, I am really fucking rusty on doing this shit. So, she's super excited for the Tiger Cruise, and, there was another kid. And I remember nothing about him. So I'm gonna probably keep forgetting that he's in this film, because he was so nondescript and so forgettable. So they're taking an airplane flight over to Pearl Harbor, because I guess that's where the ship is stationed. Sorry, the aircraft carrier. It's not a cruise ship, it's an aircraft carrier. And so the black kid, because he's black and this is Disney Channel, he's just very disruptive by just wanting to drum, because, you know, he's black, so he's got that rhythm, which makes a cheerleader go crazy, because like, ugh, he's just so noisy. And so she switches seats and ends up sitting next to the hardcore military girl. And she's just explaining what a Tiger Cruise is to some random old lady there. Which, in case you don't know, it's just kind of this voyage. Voyage of the Mimi. Except it's on an aircraft carrier. It's just this voyage where family members of naval crew members get to experience what it's like to be on an aircraft carrier. So, yeah, so everyone going on has family. And cheerleader's like, oh god, I just moved over to some other annoying person. So they land and they get on the prison bus over to the station, base, something. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's technically a prison bus. Might just be a school bus painted white. But to me it looks like a fucking prison bus. And it makes sense. You got these kids, fucking unruly. And the other kid, the white kid. So this is how I'm gonna delineate for the film. There's cheerleader, there's black kid, there's the other girl, and there's the little white boy. Okay, we got the 4 characters. And he's hoping that his mom will be there on the base. And cheerleader's like, don't worry, we'll find her. Because she's the cheerleader. She's going to save the world. Save the cheerleader! Save the world! Stop 9/11! So they've arrived to the aircraft carrier. And I'm not sure, it seems like some shots are done in front of a green screen. Which makes no sense to me. Because apparently they filmed it on the actual aircraft carrier. Because it isn't in, like, use anymore, apparently. So why would you... Like, I could understand if they needed shots to pretend like that they are at this aircraft carrier, while, meantime, they're kind of just in a studio to represent the rooms and whatnot. So I don't know, maybe it's just, like, the camera lens they use or something, so that the shots that where the background is people walking by the water and the sun's there, it just seems green screen. It's very odd to me. But, you know, all the main people, you know, they find their family members. Black kid finds I think it's his cousin, or maybe his older brother. And black kid, because he's black, he doesn't care. He doesn't want to be there. He's being punished, basically, for being there. And his brother's like, there, you should cheer up. Things are going to be great. So we're going to go on a tiger cruise. Ooh-wee, baby, ooh-wee. Won't you let me take you on a tiger cruise? I probably, like, really fucked up that song. So I will, before I go back to... You know what, I'm going to do it right fucking now. I'm going to check out how that song actually goes, so I can properly butcher it. Ooh-wee, baby, ooh-wee. Ooh-wee, baby, ooh-wee. Won't you let me take you on a tiger cruise? Okay, so I pretty much was butchering it properly. It would be awesome if this movie did do that at some point. So, but, you know, black kid, he's not too happy about going on this tiger cruise. A little forgotten white boy, he finds his mom. So he's all excited. The big fat old guy that I had not noticed before, he's going on a tiger cruise. I guess the tiger cruise isn't just for kids. And he's excited because his son or nephew is on there. But apparently he was a Marine. So should he really be all that excited about seeing how life is for the Navy? Is it just I'm a Marine, I am so much better. And it kind of is, because he's like, oh, the naval people have it so cozy. In the Marine, we are lucky to have a cot to sleep on. Yeah, you fucking asshole. I can tell. I don't like you. I hope one of the tigers eats you. I'm assuming. There's got to be tigers, right? I think I read in the description that there's tigers. But of course, this is Disney Channel, so the tigers are not going to eat anyone, not even the terrorists. But how fucking cool would that be if the tigers ate the terrorists? I am going to remake Tiger Cruise, and that is what's going to happen in the film. But crazy militant girl, who's super excited, runs into her sister, and holy shit, it's Lisa Dean Ryan. Which means fuck all to most of you. but I had to look up just to make sure. And she played Doogie Howser's girlfriend for a while, but, fuck that. I never really watched Doogie Howser. But what she means to me is this, show that was on MTV for, 10 episodes. And, all the great shows that I loved as a kid. Never got a resolution. But it's the show called Dead at 21, where the main character was going to be dead at the age of 21. And he was almost 21. And I wanted to know what happened. But, because there was some secret government testing, and they did it on some kids, and I don't think it actually gave them, powers or anything. It just fucked them up, and they were gonna die at 21. So, probably if I watched the show now, I'd be like, wow, this is just really fucking horrible. Why did I like this? Oh, I know, because I was stupid as a kid and had no standards for stuff I liked. But then the cheerleader finds her dad, who was played by Bill Paxton. Haha, just kidding. No, I know it's Bill Pullman. I always thought, that's crazy. How can people confuse Bill Pullman and Bill Paxton? To me, they look nothing alike. They don't seem anything alike. Why are people confusing them? And then after Bill Paxton died, the show, Bill Pullman was on a show, what the fuck was the show? Something with someone killed someone and he had to, uncover what happened. But anyways, when that show came out, I was like, oh, this must be the last thing Bill Paxton did. Holy shit! It fucking hit me when Bill Paxton died that, oh my god. Which, apparently, so now I can see why. Much like Steve Carell and Stephen Colbert, apparently, when they were on The Daily Show together, there was, people would get the two confused. Because I was reading, the oral history of The Daily Show, and they kept bringing that up, and I'm like, how? They're nothing alike. Their style, they don't look alike, and their styles are completely different. And then as I read, and I got to, the chapter on 9/11, and they described one segment that Steve Carell did, and I was like, holy shit, this whole time I thought Stephen Colbert did that skit, in my memory. So it's wow, people can get confused on these things. And there's nothing wrong with that. So where are we going? Oh yeah, and of course Bill Pullman is the head super chief of the naval ship. So, but the cheerleader, she's all no, there's no big deal. I'm not even really sure why she wants to be there. I think she just hates her mom and was like, what will piss my mom off the most if I go on a Tiger cruise? Now, the aircraft carrier is getting ready to depart. And before they do, cheerleaders doing a sketch of the USS Arizona. I apologize. That's very disrespectful of me of not knowing the exact name of what she was drawing. But it was one of the targets of Pearl Harbor, and not just the movie. Which, there was two terrible things to happen to that, little station. The actual Pearl Harbor and Pearl Harbor the movie. But she's drawing it, and old white guy, he comes up and he starts giving a speech about, what it meant and how, the U.S. was just caught unprepared for it. And it's a day that will live in infamy. And yeah, could you put the foreshadowing any thicker than that? So remember, this film, right now, they're on September 9th, 2001, and we just got a speech about how, we were caught unaware, and it'll be a day that we'll forever remember. Oh, yeah. Laying it on thick there. But, they go off, and it's basically like a party cruise for the kids. They get to have lots of fun and do all sorts of things. Bill Pullman calls Cheerleader over to his quarters, which is the nicest quarters because, he's like almost supreme captain. And, he just wants to do a little small talk, which she's really bad at because I think he has not really been in her life at all. He's a fucking deadbeat dad, but he's got a good excuse. He's in the Navy. He's got to be out there patrolling the ships and the seas. He's got an important job. He can't be around for her. But he wants to know. Because just like his mom, or like her mom, he's been wondering, why the fuck did you choose to go do a Tiger Cruise this year? Because you've never, ever wanted to do one before. And of course, Cheerleader, she just kind of walks off like, yeah, I'm not going to talk to you about it. And then there's a paper plane contest, which seemed kind of like a little fun game. I would have liked to participate in this. There's one side with kids, they've got paper planes, and they shoot it, or they like toss their paper planes over to the other side where there's other kids with nets. And the kids have to try to catch as many planes as they can with the nets. And you know what? That looks fucking fun, honestly. I will fucking play that now. Show me somewhere, like one of those adult, like, gaming centers or something. Set that up. I will fucking play it. That just seems fun. It's fun as fuck. But then Black Kid, he's getting into mischief. He's about to go on the flight deck, and one of the people tell him, like, don't wear a hat. You just don't want to wear a hat. And he's like, fuck your rules. I'm going to go out there with my hat. And, there's a reason they tell you not to wear the hat. Because there's planes and all this stuff flying and all this wind, and his hat goes flying. But it's all windy, and he's just being the fucking dick or something. He's just kind of, like, bouncing around like, I'm flying! And he gets a little too close to the edge. And he's like, whoa! And he trips and he falls over the edge. Oh no! And Cheerleader and the military girl, they see this and they're scared and they run off like, oh no! We gotta try to save him even though he's probably now drowning. But luckily there was a little net kind of on the side. I'm guessing to catch people who fucking fall over the edge of the side. And he's okay. And this probably was green screen because somehow, even though he's like basically right above the water as the ship is moving on a windy day with waves, and he does not fucking get wet whatsoever. Shit, I kind of forgot what just happened. My mind needed some water there. What the fuck happened? So, finally, Bill Pullman does get the cheerleader to talk. And she's upset because he never comes home. She just wants him to be home. She doesn't care that, he's got an important job. And leading the Navy means he kind of has to leave a lot. That's just part of the job. But she's all like, no, you have to leave and leave your job and find something that you can stay home all the time and be with us. Which, okay, I understand, but, protecting the country is also an important thing. Very important. And you can't leave it just in the hands of people who don't have families. Because if they have nothing to live for, then they don't give a fuck. And our country is doomed. Right? Sure. Something. But, I'm starting to think there's no tigers on this cruise. So apparently the tigers are all the non-naval people that are on this vessel. Why? Why are they called tigers? Like, meow. I wanted real tigers. And I understand that in real life, a tiger cruise does not have tigers. This is the fucking Disney Channel. How do you not make it be about, like, oh, it's a tiger cruise, but they're actually got tigers? Oh, meow. Missed opportunity, but that is why I am going to make my own film, Tiger Cruise, that features actual tigers, and the tigers fight terrorists. This is fucking brilliant idea. But, he tries to explain to her that, Daddy can't just leave because he's got to protect the planet. And you should know, cheerleader, because, you got to be saved in order for the world to be saved. But, he promises that, pretty soon he's going to be home for a while. And she's all like, just for a while? Wah, wah. Like, I just want to stay in one school and have my parents around. Suck it up, cheerleader, because pretty soon you have to save the world. And before you save the world, which is still a few years away, you have to save 9/11. So, but then, fat old guy is just walking around and he's completely out of breath because he's fat. What, you thought Disney Channel wasn't gonna go for fat jokes? Oh, they do. He climbs one of those, like, narrow little ladder things that are just basically a tube, and, he gets stuck because he is fat. Oh, yeah, Disney Channel went there. And the militant girl, she wants to take pictures of her sister as she flies off the jet, but she can't go on the flight deck because, it's dangerous. The planes, someone could get hurt. They have routine structures and protocol for a reason. No, she's just not like, I want to go. And so cheerleader's like, well, let's go talk to my dad. Maybe he can get you somewhere. And dad's like, no, I can't do that. It's fucking dangerous if we let you out on the flight deck while the planes are about to fly off. Do you not get that? And so they're both like, eh. And then Bill Pullman's like just showing off like the little, where they have like little miniatures. They look like toys, but they're not toys. They're little miniature fighter jets that are put precisely where they are in real life so that they can know exactly where every jet is to minimize all danger so that there's safety protocols. There's a reason for safety protocols, and the black kid just doesn't care because he just takes the planes because he thinks they're toys and pew pew. He does do the pew pew sounds, and Bill Pullman's like, you got to put that back, and he just kind of drops them, not caring where. And Bill Pullman's mad because if you don't have it in the exact spots, it could be dangerous because one fighter pilot might not know that there's another fighter pilot in his way, and he's gonna go, and they're gonna crash, and everyone's gonna die. And people, there is safety protocols for a reason. And black kid's just like, fuck this shit. Hey girls, you wanna get into a closer spot to take a picture? Come follow me. And he leads them into a place that says authorized personnel only. They're gonna get in trouble because there's safety protocols for a reason. I hate this kid. I fucking hate them all. And I understand that probably when I was their age, I would be like, fuck safety protocol. I'm just gonna go have fun. But there's safety protocols for a reason. Well, at least the kids went and got some safety gear before they went out onto the flight deck. So, at least they're not being completely reckless. And they go and they hide underneath one of the fighter jets. And it's like, oh no, is it going to take off and kill them? Of course not. It's a Disney Channel film. So, they get pictures of the jets going off. And part of me was kind of hoping that while the girl's taking the picture, like the flash or something, like caught, like, because her sister is like on the getting ready to fly. And I was hoping that the flash just cuts her eye and, she crashes because she can't see where she's going. And you learn why there's safety protocols. But no, it's a Disney Channel film. So nothing happens. The kids just get caught and they get a stern talking to. Should have fed them to the tigers. All right, there's no tigers. Why? You fucking call the film Tiger Cruise and you don't work tigers into it. You know, it'd be like if you went to see Operation Dumbo Drop and there was no Dumbo. You'd be like, what the fuck? Why are you teasing me with a title that's promising me an elephant and not delivering? So Bill Pullman then has a talk with Cheerleader, and you know what? He's not even gonna yell at her, because what would be the point? Because she would just say, like, oh, you weren't there for me, and blah, blah, blah. And you know what? She's right. He admits she's right. But before he admits that, he tells her why, everyone was so crazy about the kids going and just running on the field while planes were trying to take off. Why they were ignoring safety protocols. Because just the past year, a pilot died trying to take off. And, it was a bright, clear, sunny day. And they don't know what really happened and what caused the pilot to crash and die. And that's why they are very, so super strict on safety protocols. Which I think it shouldn't take someone dying for you to be like, we're gonna fucking follow on safety protocols to the letter. But it's understandable that, it's just gonna heighten your sense of, oh shit, we really gotta stick to safety protocols, you fucking stupid kids. But he's not gonna yell about it because cheerleader is right. He just was never there for her. He missed all the important things. And, because he was so focused on his career and he's next in line to get his own ship. And cheerleader, do you realize what that means? He gets to captain his own ship. But being a parent means you have to make sacrifices. And that sacrifice is going to be his career. That's right. He's going to turn in his badge or whatever, naval officers do when they quit. And he's going back home. And I hope he has a job lined up. Because if you quit, you still get, the good military pension. When you're honorably discharged, you are fucking kind of set for life. Except for the fact that you kind of have to go through the VA for any medical issues, and VA is not so very good. But you do get, if you have been there a long time and you're honorably discharged, you're retired or whatever, you get a really fucking good pension. So I can see why people decide to join the military. That's a very good reason. So, but if you quit, I don't know. Do you still get the good pension? Do you get anything? They're like, yeah, thanks for it. Here is a watch. But it might be a very nice watch. Yeah. But cheerleader is happy that he's going to go home and he's going to be the father she needs. And maybe he'll be a house husband while mom goes and works and brings home the bread. And now it's the morning of September 11th, 2001. And the alarms are ringing. And no one knows quite what's going on. And they got to be prepared because they might have to go into battle because there's all these attacks. But there's a little problem that there's all these civilians on board as well. And they don't really know how to do it, what to do, because they're kind of in an unprecedented moment. And Bill Pullman goes into Independence Day mode. He's the president, and he gives a speech of how we're all going to be okay. Don't worry. Just all your civilians are going to have to kind of be just hidden off in this one spot, because the rest of us might have to go to war. And Big Fat Dude, he's upset that his son is making cookies. This is no time to be cooking. Oh, it is the time to be cooking, old fat man. because you know what? We don't know how long we're going to be here, and there's like 400 civilians on board. They're going to have to eat. And, you know, you don't think about things like that, like the people who have to cook for the military, they're just as important because they got to eat. The soldiers and officers, they have to eat. And now you got all these civilians, and they have to eat. So, you know, it's important. And really, I'm kind of feeling bad now because it's 9/11, and should I be making fun of this? Like, because this is kind of like a heavy moment, and it's very schmaltzy right now, but it hasn't quite devolved into like being just completely awful. Even like the old fat guy being mad about his kid cooking, it's understandable. September 11th was a really like insane fucked up day because no one knew really what was going on, and no one knew how to react. And so I'm gonna let the movie slide a little in this part. And I don't know. If the rest of it is kind of just this, I might not even really like go into full details of what's happening. But I don't know. We'll see. Because I think this movie's only like halfway over. And no tigers. If they had tigers, they could have fucking taken down the terrorists. I'm just saying. Had those planes had a tiger on board, things might have gone a little differently. Okay, you know, I said I feel bad about making fun of this because this is all revolving around 9/11. And here I am making fun of the tigers. But it's not a joking matter. I do think every plane should have a tiger. And also, every plane should have a heathen pilot. At least one of the two pilots should be a heathen. Why? Because I've seen Left Behind, both the Kirk Cameron version and the Nicolas Cage version. And if you got a super Christian, pious guy flying the plane, when the rapture hits, he's going to go up. And who's flying the plane? You know? So you need a heathen to make sure you've got someone to fly the plane. I believe I mentioned this when I watched one of the Left Behind movies for this podcast. I don't know, but if I didn't, it's very important. You know, every plane should have a heathen pilot and a tiger. So we got all the obligatory like yelling and crying and hugging as there's just a swirl of emotions and things are starting to set in for people and they still don't know what's going on. And now it's September 12th. The day that revisionist history will tell you our country came together. It's just bullshit. The only thing that our country came together on was we all put little miniature flags on our cars that fell apart within weeks and no one bothered to like replace them with new ones. So you just had like these half-ripped miniature flags on your cars. That was the extent of our country coming together. People don't remember it, or they just weren't there, so they've just gone through this like lie that our country came together. No, because our country was still fucking torn apart. Not as bad as it is these days, but it was still torn apart on how to react and how to deal with things. This whole unity thing did not last very long. And they try to kind of like push this idea on you that, you know, there was a time when our country came together. Which then makes me wonder, like, you know, how was things during World War II and after Pearl Harbor and things like that? Was our country really unified at those times? What about during the Civil War? Ha, that's a joke. That was a little sly joke that, of course, our country wasn't unified during the Civil War, because that was the whole fucking point of the Civil War, was that our country was divided. But it's September 12th, and the black kid, he doesn't want to watch dumb little movies like the rest of the kids do, because this means something more to him. Because he's from New York City. And, he passed by those towers every day. And many of his friends had parents who worked there. And so I'm not going to, make fun of that at all. Not even going to make fun of the kid's bad acting, because that actually did kind of hit me hard. I don't have the relationship because I'm not from New York City. But just the whole, when you start realizing, like, your friends' parents were in these towers, and a lot of your friends' parents are now dead. So that hits hard, so I'm not going to make fun of it. Aw, man, shit's getting real. Because now the ship is starting to load up on weapons. They've got torpedoes and shit. Oh no, they're preparing for war. But Bill Pullman, in Independence Day president mode again, lets everyone know, like, no need to get concerned. This is standard operating protocol. Because, yes, there might be the possibility that they get called into war, seeing as they are a warship. So they just have to be ready. But don't worry, we're not seeing battle yet. But we'll probably get all of you civilians off the ship before we have to go into battle. Don't worry. And Bill Pullman tells Cheerleader, like, yeah, we're gonna drop you off soon, but I can't come home with you. But you promised, Dad! But I am an American hero. Because he can't let this go down. He has to be there if he's needed. Because that is his job. That is his mission. And Cheerleader, it just starts to come down on her and realize, like, holy shit, like, you're sacrificing yourself to save the country. USA! USA! And all the kids, they're, well, at least the three main ones, whatever happened to the little forgotten kid? Shit, I forgot him! He really is like the little forgotten kid! There was at some point, he was crying for his mom, and then we haven't seen him since. See, I told you, he's the forgotten kid. But Cheerleader, little militant girl, and the black kid, they're like, wow, this is coming down on us. We're just realizing just how heavy this shit is. And they go into the kitchen and just have an impromptu jam session. Just banging on pots and pans. Like, yeah, this is what's going on. And we've got the rhythm in us. And Cheerleader, an idea strikes her. And now it's September 13th, 2001. The day that those of us paying attention realize there is no fucking unity in America. So Cheerleader goes up to the captain, the supreme, the highest ranking captain in this battleship, and tells them, we had to cancel the last day of activities because of everything, but maybe we can end things on a positive note. And so they go through with what was going to be the final activity, unfurling a giant American flag. And everyone feels happy and proud. USA! USA! And then the ship reaches, land, and all the civilians, the tigers... Ugh. Why couldn't it have been real tigers? Why did they tease me with the name Tiger? But I will get back to that rant. So they deboard. Is that what it's called? Whatever. They get off the ship, and Cheerleader's talking to Bill Pullman, and she realizes that she wants him to come home, but he has a more important job. He has to go out there, and he has to protect our country, and she gets that now. Even though now everything's going to be different. Ha ha! For those of you who remember, like the week after 9/11, that's all we kept hearing was everything's going to be different now. And I mean, yeah, it was in some ways. And in other ways, we just continued being like a fucked up country. Not to say I'm not patriotic. USA, USA. So, then Bill Pullman gets back on the warship and they go off and God bless America. And as you know, we then went on to win the war on terror. Wait, what's that? We didn't? Because you can't really win a war on a concept. And just... I'm not even going to get political. That's all up for you guys to ramble on and rant about the war on terror and all the fun shittiness that happened from it. And I feel kind of bad for, making fun of this movie because 9/11. But, it was just more boring and schmaltzy than, I was just hoping for, unbelievable, oh my god, they're doing this in a 9/11 movie. Oh, Disney Channel. Hey! But no, real tigers! I don't care that, that's what a tiger cruise is. Just civilians that are, for some reason, called tigers. I don't care. Disney Channel. If the Disney Channel makes a movie called Tiger Cruise, I want to see some fucking tigers. And fighting terrorists. I was at least hoping, even though I know I shouldn't have because it's a Disney Channel film, I was hoping that the ship actually got called into war while the civilians were still on. Which would be actually a pretty cool, action movie, I think. And there probably is something similar to that where civilians are, on some sort of, warship, and then the ship gets called into actual war. And then the civilians help because USA! USA! Yeah, someone make that movie. No, but more important, someone make the movie where there's tigers on the ship. And a tiger eats the face of a terrorist. Hollywood! Week after week, then weeks of nothing, and then back to week. I give you brilliant ideas on this podcast, and yet you have not made any of them. So, I forget, how do I usually end these podcasts? It's been a while. Yeah. VelvetAl@hotmail.com, not that anyone emails me. Or you can leave a comment in the comment section if you're on YouTube, which people do, and I always forget to read the comments. I will one day. Maybe I'll read the comments on some of the videos that have absolutely nothing to do with this podcast, because those are kind of entertaining. I put up some videos of Soul Asylum from a Soul Asylum show I went to last year, and one of the comments was, I can't see the band. And it's fuck you, lady! I'm sorry that my tickets were not good enough for you. Maybe you should have bought tickets and gone to the show. Paid extra for some good seats. Yeah, people piss me off. Until next time, I love you guys. That is how I end the show. I'm pretty sure that's how I end the show. I love you guys.